Welcome to Staffordshire, England. This was one of my most fun recordings, and definitely the one where I felt the most ill after what I discovered in this stately home. This narrow tunnel leads to the grand stately home that was once a seat of the Earls of Shrewsbury. Although the building still stands, it lies in ruins and is predominantly unoccupied. But the surrounding parklands have been transformed into one of the UK's top visitor attractions. In fact, it was the second most visited theme park behind Legoland Windsor in 2021. This quiet corner of a once grand stately home doesn't give the full picture of what is going on around me here. I can hear screams of people turned upside down and back to front. The distant whoosh of roller coasters is mixed with the sound of birds that frequent the parkland that surround this fantastic stately home. For anyone who has not yet guessed where I am, I'm at Alton Towers. The site is currently owned and operated by Merlin Entertainments, one of the largest companies in the UK that operate theme parks. The tradition of welcoming visitors predates Merlin by over 100 years. Visitors were encouraged by the owner, the Earl of Shrewsbury, to come and visit the grand water gardens that he had created. Work on the house had been done by none other than Augustus Pugin, the famous architect. And just a few miles from here there is the Pugin Chapel, another famous visitor attraction in Staffordshire. Things really started to change at Alton Towers with the ownership of the 20th Earl of Shrewsbury. He was really a businessman, more interested in motor manufacture, and he actually founded the Talbot car manufacturing plant in the Midlands. In 1918, the Earl of Shrewsbury decided to sell off chunks of the estate. He died in 1921, and the Countess continued to live at Alton Towers for a couple of years, but by then the ownership had ceased to be within the family. During the Second World War, Alton Towers was used as an officer training unit, and it's often thought that much of the damage was caused by the occupation during the war, but this wasn't actually the case. The owning family, the Bagshaw family, sold off a lot of the lead and the wood inside, which caused the building to decay further than it ordinarily would have done. During the 1950s, Alton Towers started to become something like what we know it today. A narrow gauge railway was laid, taking 3 years, but the Alton Towers Limited Company reopened the grounds. The railway actually closed in 1997. In 1973, a property developer called John Broom, who'd married the daughter of the owner, Dennis Bagshaw, bought a controlling interest in the park. And he was really keen to develop the park and put rides in. He restored the sunken gardens, and in 1978 they featured in an Accurus commercial which had John Cleese starring in it. In the background you can see the Smiler. Now the queues were too long for me to go on the Smiler today, but I did manage to go on Nemesis, Galactica, the Blade, Oblivion, and I didn't quite make it to the Wicker Man, which we'll see later on. By the time I'd gone on the Blade, I was feeling particularly ill. The great thing about Alton Towers is that if you are feeling a bit dodgy after too many rides, you can just wander around the grounds and enjoy beautiful and interesting surroundings. There remains quite a lot of the stately home, although because of the roof situation, not a lot of it is accessible. There's plenty to wander around and see. The park really took off as an attraction in 1980 with the installation of the Corkscrew, one of the first roller coasters in the UK to go upside down. Bits of it remain outside the entrance as a memorial to days gone by. But there are things that are much older than that, as you can see from this video. The old conservatory, named as the Countess's Garden, is actually on display and you can wander around. You have to watch out for the odd dead pigeon. In fact, when I was there, a dead pigeon literally dropped off the roof and nearly hit someone passing by. What we're left with is a quiet, peaceful garden, which is mixed with the thrills and spills of the rides of the theme park. As we start to move away from the stately home, it's good to appreciate the grounds that surround Alton Towers. They've been restored many times over the years, and a cable car takes you from one side to the other and goes right across a sunken valley where there's all sorts of follies. You can go around the park on a monorail as well, which links the new Alton Towers Resort to the actual park itself. The great thing about getting an aerial view is you can see all the different rides and how they operate. This is the Wicker Man, one of the newer attractions, one of the largest wooden roller coasters in the world. In short, I'd recommend Alton Towers to anyone who likes thrills, spills or history. It's a fantastic day out. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you.